the conference you did.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that, and I met a lot of people. It was a big turnout.
Yeah, that was a wonderful event.
Yes.
God willing, one day we'll have another one of those.
Yeah, yeah.
Where we can actually hug each other.
Oh,
Oh, that's even going farther, right? Not only to be together, but to hug each other. Yeah. So welcome, Maria, and welcome, Rabbi Paulison, and welcome, who else haven't I said hello to yet? Rosanna and Barry, and somebody else is coming in here.
another thing about JCAN is it supplements or partly replaces some of the gloom and doom that I feel with a feeling of being able to do something.
That's pretty important, yeah. That is always helpful.
And to do something with other people.
Yeah.
And everyone is encouraged to do something, even if it seems like something small, that we're all considered leaders. So that's rather nice, even for some of us introverts.
You don't seem like an introvert to me. You seem like quite an extrovert, Carol. You do quite a lot.
I echo what Howard said, and I was saying something to Michael earlier today that, like, maybe it's because I'm pre-wired for optimism that I feel kind of like hopeful right now, or maybe it's that I'm hanging out with a bunch of people who feel like optimistic and hopeful, and like there's something that we can do that I'm like, okay, it's not over yet. Do it.
And I hear heard a little bit of Rabbi Paulison's baby in the background.
I muted them.
And that's really why we're here.
Exactly, right, yeah.
Well, I have to say, I love the intersectionality between Judaism and climate activism. It's just great to be thinking about both of these things at the same time. So that's why I like JCAN.
Thanks.
Ooh.
I got a lot of questions.
Look at our
about
youngest
that.
member there.
Oh, there he is. Here's Asher. Hi. He's learning about Zoom from the cradle, right?
So 9 months old. What's the name? His name is Asher. Hi, Asher. How you doing?
Asher.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting us listen in, and grateful to have Rabbi Katie Allen as a friend and both a congregant and a mentor in the Jewish climate action world.
Gee, in a couple of years, are we going to look at a cohort of kids that grew up from toddlerhood in Zoom? And it's just, you know, like certain things are normal, it will feel normal to us. Zoom is going to be, yeah, Zoom. That's how we talk to each other.
Hey, that's how my grandson knows us.
Right, they think we live in a box with puppets.
The sociologists, of course, will call it the Zoom cohort.
Yeah, the Zoom generation.
Well, nice to see you, Asher. Thanks for saying hello.
Welcome. Who else haven't I? Martin, I don't think I said hello to you. Welcome. And Nayana, welcome.
There's Martin. Ta-da!
Hey, Martin.
And who else?
And Beverly, did you welcome Beverly? Hi,
Beverly, yes. Well, welcome, Beverly.
Sorry, I had another Zoom that went over.
That's okay. We're just
and Judith.
This is the gist. We're getting together. We're seeing who's here. We're schmoozing. We're we're just getting ourselves ready and in the mood for a whole bunch of stuff that's going to start happening in a few minutes, and also giving people a chance to join us a little bit
Is
late.
that Judy Gibeon I see? Yeah, Judy Gibeon.
Yes.
Oh, she disappeared now.
Scared her
No,
away.
Yeah, so does anybody else want to say something about this, why they resonate with JCAN or like about JCAN or anything that, I love all the wonderful people that I meet, all of you amazing, great Jewish climate activists. I mean, you mean so much to me.
I love being able to see everybody. It's a little easier than driving in at night. More of us, but I know I've learned a lot about benchmarking and just a lot about many different issues about the environment. And I never thought that I would be in a temple that had 4 canopies, but my temple in Acton has 4 solar canopies.
Oh.
And right now we're using them for shade, but
an extra benefit, right?
Well, they'll keep the snow off too.
yeah,
Right, catching the snow
Good
and
point.
providing some shade.
underneath there, but it's just been really exciting, and I think I've learned about so many different aspects and ways of helping the environment that I'm really grateful.
Was that Ashland you said?
Acton.
Oh, Acton, yes.
Yeah. Terrific.
I think JCAN is such a welcoming group of people. That's what I have found. And it's interesting because people ask me, well, why should Jews, my non-Jewish friends, why should Jews be working on climate change? And I say, well, why not? Why is there a group for Jews? And I said, well, because when you think of all the other groups, like they say the Unitarians and the Quakers and so on, and just people in general working for climate change. Well, this is so that Jews will specifically work on climate change. But we work, and I go on about how we work with all the other organizations and Mass Interfaith Power and Light and so on and so forth, and Crew, and I go on and on about how it's not just Jews, but that's right. What we tend to work specifically with. But anyway,
and
why it's such a great group of people.
And why doesn't everybody?
Yes, right. We all.
It's part of our Tikkun Olam mission.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, very much so.
Wow.
Why everyone isn't Jewish or why everyone isn't a climate activist?
That's right. Right.
Everybody else forgot.
Both.
Both.
Yeah, the climate activist thing, that's the thing we all need to be doing. We can
right.
do the rest.
Barry.
Okay. Well, it's actually 7:15, so my schedule says to welcome you. It's time to welcome you to the first ever JCAN online celebration and fundraiser. This is a new thing. We're all doing lots of new things, so this is one of our new things. And Jewish tradition teaches us lo ta'amod al dam re'echa, don't stand idly by when the blood of your neighbor is in danger. So now more than ever, we need to not only stand idly by in so many ways, but to take action. And so we're just grateful for your presence here as we do the work that we need to do to keep JCAN going financially so that we can keep on doing the good work that all of you have mentioned in that little conversation we just had. So as we mentioned, this is a celebration, but it is also a fundraiser. And so I'm just going to share with you and show you briefly what the donation page on the JCAN website looks like. So that you can just go there at any time. We are at jewishclimate.org. And let's see, get the right one. We're at jewishclimate.org, and then you just on the right in the menu, you click on donate. And there are 3 ways to contribute to JCAN Mass. So we have a fiscal sponsor. The first click here goes to their website, and there are very specific directions you have to follow so we get the money and not them. When you get to program, you have to select fiscal sponsor program, and then in the text field, write Jewish Climate Action Network, Mass. And if you do that, your donation will be tax deductible. You can also send them a check and write JCAN in the memo, and they actually prefer if you write New England Grassroots, Environmental Fund in the line, because apparently their bank still doesn't know after many years that they're negative. If you don't care if it's tax deductible or not, you can just make out a check to us and send it to Howard, our treasurer. So we will be encouraged multiple times during the evening to give us lots of money. I just do want to say that we have several anonymous donors who have, so we have $1,000 in matching funds. The first $1,000 of donations will be matched by these generous anonymous donors. And so hopefully we will meet or exceed that goal. So, but one other thing, we want to keep track of how we're doing with that $1,000. So when you decide you're ready to pledge an amount, if you could, in the chat, go into the chat and just send to Howard. He's our treasurer, he's going to know anyway. So just send him a chat message and just tell him what you're pledging, and he will periodically keep us updated as to how we're doing. So we look forward to that. And the other thing that I want to suggest is that everybody now go to the upper right-hand corner of your screen and switch from gallery view to speaker view. And that way you will see in the center, in the main screen, whoever it is who is participating, and whoever's on stage, so to speak. So.
I just want to add one thing. Could everybody mute themselves? I can mute you all, but then I will have to unmute you all. So it's better if you just mute yourselves now, and that will make things smooth so that the speaker view will just have the correct speaker and not your air conditioner.
Right. Okay. So we are beginning with 2 musicians. We're very grateful to have 2 professional musicians in our JCAN network. And this was all planned before those of us planning understood that Zoom isn't the best medium for live music, but we're nevertheless grateful to them for being with us and offering their wonderful offerings. So I'm going to put in the Howard's name in the chat box so that you will, in case you forget.
Okay, are we ready for me now?
Okay, yes. Go ahead, Carol. I'm Janet.
Okay, so I'm Janet Green, and I'm the outreach coordinator for JCAN Mass. So it is my great pleasure. I have the honor of introducing 2 of our longtime JCAN climate activists who are also accomplished professional musicians. So first up is cellist Judith Glickson, and she is a graduate from the Hart School of Music in Connecticut. She has given extensive solo and chamber concerts and has performed with many orchestras, including the Springfield Symphony, the Tucson Symphony, the Handel and Haydn Society, and the Boston Ballet. Judith's hour-long fundraising program, One Cello, One Planet, focuses on the urgency of climate change. And what is she is going to play now is Courant from Suite Number 3 in C Major by J.S. Bach.
Thanks. Everybody hear me?
Thank you very much. That's great. And both of I just gave short little bios, and both of their longer bios are on the website, Judith, and now I'm going to introduce David Schreiber. As I said, both of their longer bios are on the website. So violist David Schreiber has a BA in music from Bennington College and a performance diploma from the New England Conservatory, 1971. He has played with the Haifa Symphony, Kibbutz Chamber Orchestra, and Kibbutz Heitzba. David is also certified. Did I pronounce that wrong?
You killed it. Yeah, it's Hepzibah.
Heitzba, thank you, David. David is also a certified financial planner, an investment advisor specializing in fossil fuel divestment. Now, David is playing the prelude to the G major cello suite, number 1 BWV 1007 by J.S. Bach. Thank you. That was great. And now it is time for Cal Ryman and our trivia.
Yes, so I'm just going to introduce this. Thank you so much, Judith and David. That was wonderful. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, that was great. Thank you, thank you. We're now going to find out how much you know about JCAN. Thanks to Carol Ryman for pulling together some trivia questions about our organization.
The answer is Bach. Johann Sebastian.
That's right, there you go. An honorary member, I guess, an honorary activist with us. So she's going to read the questions. She's just going to read them. You won't see them, you hear them. And it's multiple choice, 1, 2, 3, 4. So your answer, those are your possible answers. And write them in the chat. And if you can't do chat, you can text them to me. I think everybody here has got chat, right? And then Thea's going to keep track of the answers, and whoever answers the most questions correctly is going to get a $25 gift certificate to the rest of your choice. So the pressure is on to figure out if you know these answers.
I have two things.
I just want to
Oh,
interrupt. I just want to interrupt that everybody should switch back to gallery mode.
Okay. I just want to check. Can people hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
You're good.
Okay, great. JCAN trivia questions. Number 1. A recent 21-day challenge posted on the JCAN website deals with 1. Offshore drilling. 2. Sea level rise. 3. Recipes for cholent. 4. Anti-racism. A recent 21-day challenge posted on the JCAN website deals with 1. Offshore drilling. 2. Sea level rise. 3. Recipes for cholent. 4. Anti-racism. And the answer is 4.
Wait, it's too fast.
Wait,
Wait, you went too fast.
No, you just
too fast.
It was Judith. Janet Green. Well, I'm not going to give it to Janet. Judith Glickson, anti-racism.
Okay. I will be slower this time. I'll wait until you tell me to say the answer. 2. Which fanciful Broadway show might reflect a JCAN concern? 1. Talit Town. 2. Vent. 3. Threat Multiplier Wars. 4. The Golden Calf. Which fanciful Broadway show might reflect a JCAN concern? 1. Talit Town. 2. Vent. 3. Threat Multiplier Wars. 4. The Golden Calf.
Barbara. And Barbara Holtz got the answer.
Woo!
Question number 3.
The answer was threat multiplier war.
She was fast.
Are we ready for the next question?
Yep.
Okay, 3. JCAN VP Fred Davis's day job. 1. Manage participants. 2. Energy efficient lighting. 3. Talmudic scholar. 4. Golem. JCAN VP Fred Davis's day job. 1.
We got it
Manage
already.
participants. 2. Energy efficient lighting. 3. Talmudic scholar. 4. Golem.
A lot of people knew, but I think Linda got it first, right?
That's right. Linda got it first.
Okay.
Answer is?
And the answer is energy efficient lighting.
A lot of people knew that.
Question number 4. Approximate number of synagogues that are part of a JCAN benchmarking process. 1. 613. 2. 50. That's 50. 3. 25. That's 25. 4. 100. That's 100. Approximate number of synagogues that are part of a JCAN benchmarking process. 1. 613. 2. 50. 3. 25. 4. 100.
Looks like Barry got it with 100 right off
It's
the top.
me. I sent it too.
Wait. Oh, yeah, we got a lot of people that sent it. But he
Barry
was
got
the
it
first one.
You gotta be quick. You gotta be quick. Whoever gets it in first.
I thought mine was first. Oh, well.
That's okay. Then you got to keep trying. Okay.
Okay, next question, number 5. Who is not a climate activist mentioned in JCAN postings? 1. Dr. Adrian Hollis. 2. Martin Buber. 3. Rabbi Arthur Waskow. 4. Rabbi Katie Allen. Who is not a climate activist mentioned in JCAN postings? 1, Dr. Adrian Hollis. 2, Martin Buber. 3, Rabbi Arthur Waskow. 4, Rabbi Katie Allen.
I think Beverly got the first one.
That's correct.
Martin Buber. Yeah, she got it first. Okay.
Number 6, location where JCAN members have not taken part in a protest. 1, Essex, Sitna, and Rehoboth Wells. 2, New York City. 3, Weymouth Compressor Site. 4, Boston. Location where JCAN members have not taken part in a protest. 1, Essex, Sitna, and Rehoboth Wells. 2, New York City. 3, Weymouth Compressor Site. 4, Boston.
I think Barbara gets that one.
I couldn't write it.
I thought it was Janet Green who got it.
Yeah, but I think she knew the question.
I think she knows the answers. Janet, it's not fair that
She's
the answers.
disqualified for being a member of the planning team.
Oh, poor Judith. Oh.
Did you read the answer?
Yeah, it was that was number 1.
Okay.
The answer was
Next.
Essex. Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Which does not appear in a list of JCAN webinars? 1, divestment. 2, gardening. 3, Surus. 4, benchmarking. Which does not appear in a list of JCAN webinars? 1, divestment. 2, gardening. 3, Surus. 4, benchmarking.
You have to spell Surus correctly.
I think Maria got that one right. Yeah, she did.
I spelled it wrong.
That's okay. Spelling doesn't count on this test.
Wait, is that a complaint? Do we need one?
I would have spelled it in Hebrew, but I don't have a Hebrew e-pen.
I just put the number. Mine was actually first, but Maria can
Oh, okay. Whoops. Oh, you're right. 3. Okay.
Notice it's actually Yiddish, not
Beverly, gotta
Hebrew.
be fair here. Wait.
But it would look Hebrew if you wrote it.
Okay.
Beverly.
I wrote quasi-Hebrew in English.
Okay. Oh, you got a
Ready for the next
group
question?
here. Whoa.
Okay,
Next question.
warriors.
Okay.
Okay. Rabbi Katie often speaks of hope for climate justice in words of 1, Russian. 2, Sanskrit. 3, Judeo-Yemeni Arabic. 4, Torah. Rabbi Katie often speaks of hope for climate justice in words of 1, Russian. 2, Sanskrit. 3, Judeo-Yemeni Arabic. 4, Torah.
Bev got that.
I'm sorry, but these questions are pointing out directions we can move into because you didn't intend that, but
So give Maria the one before. We'll be fair.
Yeah, right. I'm working on learning Sanskrit. I'm just not there yet. Sorry.
Next question. JCAN does not have a relationship with 1, Massachusetts Interfaith Power and Light. 2, Jewish Earth Alliance. 3, Dead Sea Scrolls. 4, New England Federation of Temple Youth. JCAN does not have a relationship with 1, Massachusetts Interfaith Power and Light. 2, Jewish Earth Alliance. 3, Dead Sea Scrolls. 4, New England Federation of Temple Youth.
Bev's got the fastest fingers, I think. Okay.
Yeah, you should spread it around. Give it to somebody who hasn't gotten one yet.
Well,
I'll take one.
We're
No,
aiming to have a
seriously.
winner.
I'll take one and give the other 2 to somebody else.
Okay, we have one final question.
This might be a tiebreaker.
A well-attended 2020 JCAN event dealt with 1, sump pumps. 2, vegan patent leather pumps. 3, heat pumps. 4, pumpkin lockies. A well-attended 2020 JCAN event dealt with 1, sump pumps. 2, vegan patent leather pumps. 3, heat pumps. 4, pumpkin lockies.
I think David Schreiber got that one first. Okay, so.
Which was, what was the answer?
The answer was
Heat
heat
pumps.
pumps. Yes, heat pumps.
Oh, we got to have one on pumpkin lockies, though. We got
Pumpkin lockies, yeah.
I finally figured out how to make the damn thing work.
Oh, okay, good. Well, we're glad you made it. So the answer is, I mean, the winner is, okay, what do you say, Thea? Who's the winner?
Well, Beverly had 3. Barbara had 2. So
Yay, Beverly.
the winner is Beverly.
Okay, Beverly, you get a $25,000 gift certificate to the restaurant of your choice.
It'll be a vegan
let us know
restaurant.
what that is, where that is. Thank you.
Probably Walnut Grill.
Okay.
Great.
Hi, Linda.
Okay,
Thank you.
so thank you, everybody. I'm glad. I think we learned a lot about JCAN just then, and the things that we don't do as well as the things that we do. So, okay, Deb, you're on, and we're going to have an art show next.
Actually, first let me jump in and say that so far our total is $236 pledged.
$236. Okay, we've got a ways to go to get that. That's great. Yep. That's great. And now let's make sure we get up to. There's $1,000 worth of matching funds. So let's see if we can get there.
We're on our way.
All right.
And if you haven't been inspired yet, this artwork should inspire you. Okay, Deb, you're in charge.
Yes. Okay, I'm sharing my screen now, and I want to first of all encourage everyone to go to Speaker View, return to Speaker View if you haven't already, and then I would like to introduce my 3 artists, and I say it like that because every time we have a conference or something like this, Katie and I always get really excited about having some kind of visual art component. And we all feel like we were all very excited to get on the screen. Their bios are also on the website. They are too long for me to read in their entirety, so I will just briefly give a few highlights. We have Linda Klein, among other things. She was a professor of fine arts and the dean of the fine arts department at Endicott College. She is part of the Fountain Street Studios community in Framingham. We have Joel Moskowitz, whose work is shown, among other places, at the Cambridge Art Association, the Danforth Art Museum, the South Shore Art Center, the J.J. Spoke Gallery, and the Long Beach Island Foundation of the Arts, also a member of Fountain Street. And we have Lisa Gorin. You may have seen her work mentioned in this little rag called the Washington Post recently. She is not a member of Fountain Street, but she is a board member of the National Association of Women Artists, Massachusetts chapter. She was named Artist in Residence of the South Shore Art Association from 2016 to 2018. And oh yeah, had a couple of pieces in the Gaia Les Femmes et l'Écologie, apologies if I pronounced that incorrectly, in Paris to coincide with the climate talks. So, without further ado, we are turning this over to my husband, Michael, his question, and the artists and their works.
Hi, I'm Michael Naum-Crane. First, I want to thank Linda Klein. She's donated her painting. It's the painting of the flowers that you'll soon see. And I want to say thank you to her for donating that painting. And Deb will email in the chat how you can purchase that painting if you'd like to. Now, in the pieces that we see, you'll soon see all of them. The themes that we saw in these paintings are, and also the wood sculpture as well, is the themes of defiance, resilience, and reclamation. And those words also imply, at least to us, and obviously this is art, you can interpret it as you like, imply strength, courage, and recovery. And I wanted to ask the artists themselves, what moved you as artists, people who are sensitive to the world around them and are moved to share their vision of the world, to bring these themes or any other themes that you might have seen in your art, you can mention as well. what moved you to bring these themes to your work? And we'll start with Lisa Bourne, please. Goran, I'm sorry.
Hi, thank you for inviting me. I want to talk about resilience and fragility because I've been working on polar landscapes since I went to Antarctica over 20 some odd years ago. And people really weren't talking about climate change there too much. They were beginning to, and then so it kind of came to me rather than I'm going to that as a subject. But I specifically chose two paintings that are of glaciers. The one on your right is from Antarctica, and the one on the left is from Alaska. And what I guess I want to say in this very short time is that every time you see an iceberg or a glacier, you're seeing something that's in motion, constant motion. And so the vision you see will never be seen again because it will constantly be changing. And they're so monumental and yet so fragile. And I think that that is something that I hope to incorporate in my work. The one on the left is a newer piece, and as I've been working more recently, they are much larger. This one is, I think, 51 inches wide. And part of it is to just try and capture the scale of these incredible natural sculptures.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Joel, please tell us about your work.
Okay, thank you for asking, Michael. And so you mentioned those three words, defiance, resilience, and reclamation. For this piece, I'd like to talk about reclamation. About 2 years ago, we built a solar home with panels on the roof. And in order to do that, we needed to eliminate a lot of trees in our backyard. So we took them down and they took away the root balls. They were gigantic oaks and pines and maples. And they scraped the earth clean and planted a clover lawn. So we're very proud of what we did because ultimately it will be beneficial to the earth, but the actual event felt very destructive. And so I'll talk about that piece next, but so I would walk around on our backyard and find these roots protruding out of the ground. They were just long and thin and supple roots that were left of the root balls that had been carted away. And it was a surprise to find them. And I identified with them as a lost thing and a displaced thing because we had moved from a place that I really liked. And not that our move was a forced move or anything like that, but just emotionally, I related to these roots and decided to use them as an art material. I'm used to using bought art materials. And so this was a time when I decided to use found materials, and it felt like I was gleaning, not in the Jewish sense of providing for the hungry, but in the sense of using something that would otherwise be left to decay. Not only did I use roots for this piece, but I used hardware that we had saved we had a frame shop, a picture framing shop, and we used to save all of the hardware from old frames that people left us, like the old screws, and I incorporated them as fasteners for this piece. Not only that, but if you look in the middle of the piece, there's a black and green shape peeking out. Now what that is a piece of nylon twine, which was used to hold construction supplies for the house we were building. So we would come to the construction site and pick up things, and I reclaimed them, as most artists love to pick up things and reuse them. So this piece is an example of that. So the next piece is made out of blueberry sticks, which is because I pruned the blueberries on our site. We have high bush blueberries. I pruned them, and because I was in the spirit of using things that I found in the meadow and in the forest. And so I loved the shape of them. They're all twisted and jagged branches. And so I put this together. It's like a house, and I call it a reliquary because it has that silver shape in the middle that it seems to be protecting. Now that silver shape also is a piece of a construction from the construction site. It was just a piece of pine stud that I carved into a ball. So this structure was also put together by those little brass fasteners, screws and wires. So that's an example of reclamation. And those are, that's the word that I identify with of all those three words that you mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joel. Linda, please tell us your thoughts about your flowers and your earth there too.
Yeah, just first, I just want to correct one thing. Fountain Street Studios used to be in Framingham. We were evicted when they sold the building. So the gallery that Joel is in the South End across the street from Brumfield Gallery, which is the gallery I'm affiliated with. So I wrote up something, and I just because I wanted to be sure to say the things I wanted to say. So my process is I go out to nature to capture through photos the various forms of plants and insects and bugs. I am struck by the outrageous variation of these subjects. I bring these images home and they become a source for new shapes and forms through breaking them into components and reassembling them into new plant and insect forms. In essence, I am creating a parallel universe. When I experience nature's fecundity, I am liberated from my resistance to mimic nature's abandon and let my imagination run wild. I try to be just as outrageous. I am optimistic because of nature's resilience and adaptability. Creativity is nature's force, and my creations are parallel actions in which, like nature, I have no choice but to create. Even though I'm concerned for the future of humanity, I am also aware of how we have neglected our responsibility to care for all of nature. We have remained in an anthropocentric condition without realizing our interconnectedness with other creatures. Nature is resilient and may endure, but without us to witness it. This particular image that is up there, the one that is more colorful and strong, as above, so below, is more subdued and subtle than many of the others, but below the Earth's surface, it teems with new life. So amending Shakespeare slightly, quote, as imagination bodies forth the forms of things unknown, the poet's pen, and may I add, the artist's hand, turn them into shapes and give to airy nothing a local habitation and a name.
Oh, thank you. Piled on art upon art. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I'm married to a poet, you know, how can I?
Oh, yeah. What a great household. And I just wanted to point out to everyone that it is the painting on the right, perhaps you can see me scooching my mouse around, that Linda has generously agreed to donate to us. I will put, as soon as I shut down this presentation, I will put the address that if you're interested in buying it, you should be emailing, and then we will talk about details from there. We had hoped to have time for a follow-up question, but we didn't want to stop the artists talking, so because they had such great things to say. So no, I just wanted to thank all of you again for allowing us to display your work as part of this show. That you know, the paintings speak for themselves, right? It's beautiful. Here I'm going to click back again so everyone can see what we've got. And you know, just the majesty and the profundity and the simplicity that this all adds to it. So thank you again. And now I'm turning it over back to Rabbi Allen for a video, correct?
So, wow, that was amazing. Thank you to all you wonderful artists for sharing your work. That was beautiful. And thank you for those heartfelt words. That was really wonderful. Really appreciate this. Okay, so the next we are going to see the world premiere of an amazing video to showcase the story of JCAN, which was put together by Thea. So make sure that you're on speaker view so that you can get the, well, maybe she's sharing her screen. So we should all get the full benefit of this. So hopefully you'll learn some more things about JCAN. So go ahead. Thank you, Thea.
We very much see climate change happening. In the last 4 years, we have had 3 times where our high holidays have been threatened by hurricanes.
We have only 10 years to make radical reductions.
Climate change is so huge that if we really were to face it completely, we just wouldn't be able to function. It's okay to live with a certain amount of denial, but it's not okay not to do anything.
The Jewish community needs to take a role in this, take an active role in this, and have a moral voice and be expressing concern by having the Jewish Climate Action Network. We're also putting the word out there that the Jewish community cares.
And it's not just a bunch of people sitting around talking about how we'd like to do things. It's people who, as soon as we get a viable idea, we move.
You need 10 people to say Kaddish, so you need a group of people together to get something happen, because if one person, stops driving their car, that's one person. But if a whole community makes a commitment to reducing something together that impacts the planet.
Put signs at every solar house. They're going to have a sign so that people will see that solar has become really normal here. So the teams made
1.5 kilowatts on the main roof of the temple. It's important that you have a good south-facing roof.
Food gardening they're going to do, that they do it in ways that are part of the climate solution.
Date back from 1860 and 1882, and these pipes are still in use. That means there's a pipe under the ground that was installed when President Lincoln was still alive.
Adonai Natan, Adonai Lekach, Yehi Shem Adonai Mefarach. God gives, God takes away, blessed be the name of God.
I spent a lot of time outdoors, but I was in a place that was bringing me safety and healing and joy, and so from a very young age, it was a place of healing and support and strength.
I've always been involved as an advocate and a volunteer. I see that Jews have always been caring, concerned citizens. I wanted the Jewish community, synagogues, other Jewish institutions, to play leading roles in climate action.
I've been involved with social justice activism almost since birth, but I was brought up with a very strong sense of obligation to make the benefits of our society available to everyone.
I was drawn to climate work going way back to 1984 when I was mobilized by seeing what was going on with the Ethiopian famine and the link to climate change, which even back then was articulated.
I was brought up by an Orthodox mother and a theoretical physicist father, and they taught me the values of compassion and curiosity. And I think I fell in love with nature then. 4 o'clock in the morning in the desert at Death Valley. It was life-changing.
I'm hoping to major in environmental studies at Tulane University. We would compost at camp, and we would be aware of where our food comes from and living minimally. This is the environment that I live in, and it's important.
The ultimate goal of JCAN is to be a motivator, a support, a cheerleader for congregations, for Jews, for Jewish institutions.
One of JCAN's jobs is to help each synagogue green team to realize that the challenges they face are almost exactly the same in the next synagogue and the next synagogue.
I have created a webinar about how to divest from fossil fuels and what to do with your money once you've divested from fossil fuels, and how you can seek impact with your investments.
I'm leading this team. It's all about how we're going to use agriculture and forestry to help sequester carbon, or as we sometimes like to think of it, putting the carbon back where it belongs.
And that JCAN is providing a place for people that are really invested, interest, curious about how to use Jewish values and Jewish story and Jewish experience to fight climate change, to find that community of people they can interact with, that they can study with, and that they can act from.
It is clear that systemic racism and climate disruption are deeply intertwined, and that we can't effectively move forward in combating either without the other.
The successes that I've seen is community. I think that right now people are desperate for community.
We have partnerships with organizations within the Jewish community, with interfaith organizations, with secular organizations.
Representatives from almost 100 synagogues, and in each of those cases, somebody has committed to at least do something.
North American Federation of Temple Youth. There, I met environmentally focused and aware teens, the people that I've met in Jewish settings that have like inspired me or like kind of led me toward this way.
JCAN, like so many other nonprofits, has the problem of limited resources. Are we going to put our resources into working on sustainability or on the more holistic problems of food and waste and water and advocacy?
People are suffering all over this planet because of climate change. People are really, really suffering. Tikkun Olam, the repair of the world, that's a foundational part. We just need to be constantly making the world a better place.
If it's not on your radar, then like we're not on the right track. It needs to be on everyone's radar if we're gonna like make a difference and like make it so that this planet is livable, like for our own children and grandchildren. I just think it's just so vital.
Rabbi Tarvin teaches us, Lo lecha amlacha ligmor, v'ata lo ben chorin libatel mimena. We are not required to complete the work, but neither are we free to refrain from it.
Lador vador, from generation to generation, there's a lot in Judaism about passing things along. Well, it's really, really basic to think about the fact that we want to pass this world along to the next generation in a way that's livable and survivable. And that's pretty basic.
That was it.
Bravo, Thea.
And Thea's the one who put it together.
Thank you. It took a lot of time, and it was a lot of fun to do, and I appreciate everybody being willing to be interviewed and share photographs and stuff. It was a lot of work, but I'm glad I was honored to be able to do it for JCAN. So thank you.
Fred.
Okay, so I've been asked to say a few words, and do we get a report, interim, from the treasurer before I go on?
Yeah, Howard, how are we doing?
We got a ways to go, but it's moving along.
Okay, okay.
All
We'll
right.
get another more specific update in a little bit.
So
I think we were all transfixed on the video for the last
right. So now that I'm speaking, go to your phones.
Oh.
Do it, push the buttons, whatever you got to do. So one of the things I do in our meetings is at a junction like this is I say, I'm going to keep talking until, and whatever the case is, we get the volunteers that we're asking for, the hands raised, etc. That's why I asked, how many dollars do I have to keep talking for? It's a threat there, folks. I hope you all caught it. I won't talk. I won't talk forever because there's a limited time on the agenda. But I will mention, and it was so sweet when whoever put the cute questions together said, "What's Fred's day job?" And the first option was he goes home and he contacts JCAN people, finds new contacts for JCAN. And I wish that was my day job. I really do, because I really enjoy that part of the work. And that's what I wanted to talk about is the networking part of the Jewish Climate Action Network. So here we are, all of us on individual screens. And yes, it's because of COVID, but I'll remind us all that JCAN has been operating a lot through Zoom meetings, Zoom webinars, especially for what now, 2-3 years? At least 3 years, I think. So way before COVID made us more isolated, we used it to connect people so that people who are hither and thither could come together in a meeting. And it's been wonderful. And so the networking, I just want to pass along that when you think of the word network, you know, everybody has their own concept, but and much of it's logical, much of it pertains to everything we do. But I'll just point out a couple of things. So some of us are very firmly situated within the Jewish community, maybe our own synagogues or maybe some other Jewish institution. And many of us are not. Many of us said there's a Jewish Climate Action Network that I can connect to, even though they couldn't connect in any which way to any other part of Jewish community. So we make connections in ways that we don't expect. That's what I'm talking about, network. So it's from within some of us within the Jewish community, some of us consider ourselves outside the Jewish community, but we come together through this network. It's fantastic. So that's one sort of surprising way we network. Another surprising way, and by the way, I picked up network because this is really where we need the dollars. This is where we actually pay somebody to reach out and make connections via email and telephone and telephone and email and telephone until the connections are made. It's real work. It's real work. It's organizing. So another surprising way, and did I hear that? Yes, I just heard a ding. Somebody just made a donation. That's terrific. I'll keep going. So another way that we have surprising connections is within synagogues. It has happened so many times that somebody reaches out to JCAN and says, you know, I don't know that there's anything happening in my synagogue. There should be. And then we say, you know what, there is. And we connect the person who just contacted us with the person who contacted us 6 months earlier, a year earlier. And sometimes that other person said, you know, we started a group and then we had 4 meetings and nobody showed up after that. So anyway, shidduch, right? That's the word, making the connection. We put people together with people in their own community that come all the way around and get back to within their own congregation. So that's another example of real work, real networking that happens. Then there's the outside the silo. Many of us operate, as I said, firmly footed within our own synagogue, which is terrific, and we do Jewish Climate Action networking, not networking, but organizing there, and that's great. But we have no idea what happens down the street, and in the clip that Thea showed that you had me saying, we don't realize that what's going on down the street or in 2 towns over is they're hitting exactly the same brick walls. Or they actually faced those brick walls before us and have gotten through. So that's a great opportunity for networking to go from our silo to another silo, help each other get through the same issues. They're all the same issues, and they're all get throughable. There are no absolute barriers. All the barriers we have found that and Rabbi and I have been on countless webinars where people say, oi, the problems we have in our shul, you won't believe the politics, and the heating system is, and we don't have any money. You name it, we've heard it, and they're all resolvable. And when people start hearing how they can get resolved, it's fantastic. So networking, just two more things. So many of us are here in the greater Boston community. We network as a community and through the Synagogue Council of Massachusetts, which has been wonderful. We also network with other networks. So there's a JCAN in New York, a JCAN in DC. There's Higher Ground Initiative, which is mostly based in Florida. There's a gaggle of synagogues that form a loose network on the West Coast, in mid-California, I'd say. And we all connect with each other now because of JCAN. It's fantastic. And last but not least, because we are an organization, because we are a network, it gives us a platform to connect with other organizations. So national organizations like RAC, Religious Action Center, Hazon, and as I said, Higher Ground Initiative. So those are some ideas. And how we doing, Howard? I can stop talking anytime now.
Yeah, I think you're going to need to so we can move on. But can we get an update, Howard? Okay. Howard, we're waiting on an update. Are we getting closer?
Ah, now you can hear me. 765.
Oh, okay.
We're moving.
We're getting closer to that $1,000, and would be great to even go beyond it.
Realize people were giving to make me stop talking. So thank you very much.
That's great. Okay.
Now we should give again to thank him for actually stopping.
For stopping. There you go. Okay. So we've been talking a lot about climate change and systemic racism, and so we're going to show a short video about the father of environmental justice. Oops, wait, I didn't do that right. Got to click the boxes.
The environmental justice movement is not new. It has its roots in the civil rights movement. The term environmental justice was born in 1982 in rural Warren County, North Carolina, where over 500 demonstrators were arrested protesting the location of a hazardous PCB landfill. For more than 4 decades, Dr. Robert Bullard has been a leading voice, a pioneering researcher widely known as the father of environmental justice. He sat down with Jamila King from Mother Jones.
How much is climate change a civil rights issue?
The right to breathe is a basic right. We don't decide next Tuesday I'm not going to breathe. The right to have access to clean energy, to have access to food, and to have access to communities that are not underwater. These are basic rights, and actually it's elevated above civil rights. These are human rights that are not codified per se in a given state or nation. These are basic rights that cut across nations.
We've seen a lot of young people really take the lead in bringing attention to climate injustice, to environmental justice. How important is that for you as someone who's worked on these issues for decades?
Every social movement that has been successful in the United States has had a strong youth and student component. Whether you're talking civil rights, peace and justice, women's movement, anti-war, environmental justice. And so it means that when we work together and form this collaborative effort of this intergenerational movement, we are powerful, we're unstoppable.
Why do you think that the issue of environmental justice has gone mainstream in this 2020 presidential election?
Any presidential candidate that does not acknowledge and does not deal with environmental justice in his or her campaign will be irrelevant. They're going to have to read up on it. They're going to have to understand the fact that environmental justice is not a slogan. It's not a bumper sticker. This is real. Communities are hurting.
And when asked which candidates should do more on environmental justice, Dr. Bullard said, all of them. He believes we are still way behind on policy.
Oh, what you got there?
Linda, what did we get?
finished.
Okay.
Okay, so this is pretty
What?
awesome. We've got 3
Sorry.
meals
Okay.
packaged up nicely in here.
Okay, we got rid of that. Sorry about that. Okay, so that's a little bit of a history about the father of environmental justice. So, okay, we're gonna hear a story, but somebody's gonna introduce. Okay.
I'm Beverly Rich from Temple Beth Elohim.
And make sure you're on speaker view, everybody.
And on the leadership team. I am delighted to introduce another talented member of the Jewish Climate Action Network leadership team, JCAN Secretary, Dr. Thea Ebral. Thea has been called a shimmering bridge between heart and mind. She has a master's degree in writing, a PhD in computational neuroscience, is an award-winning writer, story, poet, scientist, as you saw, a very talented filmmaker, and was even an award-winning clown for 20 years. Thea has performed poetry and storytelling since 1998 and representing Los Angeles at the National Poetry Slams, an inductee into the International Educators Hall of Fame. She's featured in the documentary Poets, Passion, and Poetry. Thea writes stories that springboard from the personal into moral issues, scientific questions, and emotional truths. She's the author of the visionary climate change novel, The Swallow and the Nightingale. Thea's musical, We Did It For You, Women's Journey Through History, has performed throughout the Boston area for several years and many other venues before that. Thea has written 11 other plays, has had over 50 poems published, and is a member of Northeast Storytellers. We're privileged this evening to hear a sample of Thea's storytelling.
Thank you, Beverly. That was longer than the bio that I gave you.
I checked your website.
I'm going to share a story or a performance poem from 2015, which makes me reflect on what's happened since 5 years ago, and it causes me some sadness, but I'd like to share this with you. It's called The Difference. The Pope went to Washington, and because I'm Jewish, I went too. 200 of us moved our Yom Kippur services to the steps of the Lincoln Memorial so that we could support the Pope's climate encyclical. It was the Day of Atonement, the holiest day of the Jewish year, where we fast and we atone for our sins. Usually, these are for being preoccupied with ourselves or for ignoring spiritual development. But this time, it was different. And as the sun turned the Washington Monument to a golden pink, we read our sins. For the harm, the hurt, the damage we have caused by not recycling. V'yal kulam elocha selachot. For all these sins, God of mercy, selach lanu, machalanu, kaper lanu. Forgive us, pardon us, grant us atonement. For the harm, the hurt, the damage we have caused by killing off 10,000 species a year and letting rainforests be cut down. Selach lanu, machalanu, kaper lanu. For the harm, the hurt, the damage we have caused by using dirty fuels. V'yal kulam elocha selachot selach lanu machalanu kaper lanu. Over a distant loudspeaker, we could hear the Pope. And at the same time, as part of our service, we read the prayer for the earth from his encyclical. It was like we were reading it right back to him. Bring healing to our lives that we may protect the world and not prey on it, that we may sow beauty, not pollution or destruction. Usually in the service, we read from the books of the prophets, but this time it was different. The rabbis quoted from many spiritual leaders, including Martin Luther King, who said, all life is connected, tied to a garment of destiny. What affects one affects all. I could see the Canada geese landing in the reflecting pool,
the little bugs crawling on the ground, the airplanes flying overhead. We ended by chanting the Kaddish, the Jewish prayer for the dead. Usually we say it once for our ancestors, but this time we said it twice, for all the dying species. At the Yom Kippur service, they asked us to finish this sentence. When I think of the world, it breaks my heart because, for me, it breaks my heart to think of the world that my grandchildren are inheriting. I look at their 3-year-old and 4-year-old little hands as they reach up for peanut butter sandwiches, how they spin around for joy as they play with their dad, how they curl up at night feeling safe in their beds. They don't know that resource wars have already begun, that millions of people are on the move, running from rising waters and debilitating drought. When they're in their 20s and 30s, caught in wild weather and desperate for food, will they glare at me and ask me, why didn't you do more? What will I say? That it was different back then, that I was too dazzled by the conveniences of capitalism to join into a solidarity economy, that I kept using gasoline and didn't put solar panels on my house because of the expense, that I didn't stop oil companies from fracking and building pipelines because I had something more important to do? I'll tell them I went to Washington because one pope can make a difference. I'll tell them I wrote a poem that I shared one evening with some people who want to sow beauty, not pollution or destruction, people who believe that all life is connected. I'll say that I looked into those people's eyes and asked them to join in so that we can face the future together, because united, we'll share the burden of fear and act together, because this time, it is different. Thank you.
Whoa, thanks, Thea.
Thank you.
Fabulous, fabulous. Thank you, thank you. Whoa, we're getting close to the end of our program. Deb, you're on.
Yeah. Okay, and that is a tough act to follow, especially because I'm just doing announcements here. So we have a bunch of really great summer and fall activities that we have planned. Stay tuned for perhaps the most important one, Reclaim Our Vote. We're working with other partners to help fight against voter suppression and to get out the vote, because everything else aside, if we can't get that done, we're in trouble. So as information comes out about that, we'll be emailing our list. Please stay tuned. The land use, agriculture and land use team that I head, we have a couple of events planned. We have a film series. It is limited to 50 participants. We were able to do this thanks to a generous grant from the Jeff. If you are interested, I will put the email in the chat, or the link in the chat that you can register for. We'll be viewing Hometown Habitat and Intelligent Trees, and then on August 17th, we will have a discussion about both of those and talk about native plants, plant communication, and how we can use that to help fight climate change. Rabbi Allen, Rabbi Michael Bernhold, and myself will be teaching a class called A Tree of Life, Trees and Trees Metaphor Classes. That will be at 7 p.m. on August 19th, August 26th, and September 2nd. We are also working with Jewish Earth Alliance to write letters for climate justice. That more information will be coming, but it's going to be an online event, of course, on Zoom, August 20th at 7. We're also kicking off our book discussion group August 25th, August 13th, and November 9th. We're reading We Are the Weather by Jonathan Safran Foer, Nature's Best Hope, and The Earth Knows My Name. So we encourage all of you to sign up for this, especially the films. We have about 25 spaces left, but we expect that to go quickly. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Whoa, that's a lot. That's a busy month we're going to have. So sign up. Yeah, do put the link in the chat, and you'll continue to get it through the emails that we send. So this is terrific. Wow, that was a lot. So we were hoping to show the trailers for those 2 films, but we didn't have time. So you can actually even just go and watch the trailers on the internet if you want to decide whether to do this. So I'm just feeling a lot of gratitude. Whoa, I just want, first of all, invite everybody to switch to gallery view so we can all see each other again. And let's just take a few minutes. We can't stop, we can't end without some expression of gratitude for this. First of all, how are we doing, Howard? Are we almost there? Are we almost to our $1,000? Okay, well, he's getting that information, Howard. You can just interrupt me at any time. I just want to say thank you.
Sorry, helps to unmute. We're at 8:15.
8:15. Okay.
Inching there, but we're not there yet.
So we need 100, and if my math is correct, $85 to make use of all this.
Yes.
These wonderful matching funds that we have. So please, just even if everybody just gives a little bit more, then we'll be there. So
Yeah,
thank
we
you,
were
everyone.
we were all glued to Thea's story.
Yeah,
nobody,
right. I mean,
nobody
we've
could
been
possibly do anything else.
Now's your chance. Now's your chance as we're
Yes,
starting
no
to say
excuse.
thank you.
Yes,
and
now's the time.
I
There's
invite all
not
of
a
us
time
to
limit, is there?
What?
There's no time limit. People can still contribute, correct, to make up to $1,000, correct?
Oh yeah, you betcha. And you know, we hit 1,000, you can keep going. I mean, that's okay too.
Absolutely.
It doesn't mean that we have to stop there, but I want to thank the planning team for this. I did this together with Janet and Deb and Carol. What a fabulous team. Oh my gosh, everybody just stepped up and did a lot. It was so great. So thank you to those, and I just invite all of you to say what you enjoyed this evening and what you want to say thank you for, at the same time that you're putting those extra numbers into the chat for Howard. And you might want to just put on your chat, and you can also express your things in the chat box. This has just been fabulous. Thank you so much also to Theo for the time and energy that she spent in putting together that video. This is the world premiere, but it will be visible again. I guess we'll probably put it on our website.
Yes, we're going to put it on the website. We're going to put it on YouTube. We are really going to let the world know all the phenomenal work that everybody is doing. And I particularly want to express my gratitude for the JCAN leadership. I work with such wonderful people that make this all happen. I mean, as Deb was listing all of the things that are coming up, I mean, it's just an enormous amount of things that are coming across so many different areas in terms of films and webinars and book clubs and classes. You know, JCAN is this leadership team is just searching far and wide to create not only community but learning opportunities so that we can all learn and join together. And I'm just have such gratitude. And Malka said in the chat, she said this is her first time here, and she said thank you for the great experience. So it's really great that that you're seeing the incredible organization that JCAN is, and we welcome everybody. You know, we have a few people that are at the leadership top, but we always include so many people, and all of you. And you know, it's a joy to be part of this organization, and it's Nyana's fault that I'm part of this. I was teaching a writing class in Natick, and she said, "Oh, have you heard about the JCAN conference? It's tomorrow." And I said, "No." And I got out of the class and I drove right down to where the conference was, and that was the first conference, and I joined in there. And so thank you, Nyana, and thank you, leadership team.
Well, I want to thank the artists and the musicians. They were all great. Hi, Lisa.
Yeah, I totally agree. Really appreciate the creativity that people put into sharing this. So thank you to all of you. I know some people have already left, so I feel badly that I'm not getting them thanked, but
I think there were about
everybody.
I think there were about 40 people at peak.
Okay.
Wow.
Good.
Yeah.
And it's been recorded, so we'll also make it available for people to watch if they want to. I think in the same way that we've done other recordings, you can request it if you want.
So I remember when we started, I don't know how many people are at the table, but it was a really small group. And it was the question was, can we do this and how can we do it? And I'm really proud of how it's grown, and look what we're doing. I was most excited when we went international.
Yeah, we have connections all over the place. It's pretty amazing.
David and I sat at the conference. It was a conservative Jewish conference, and they didn't have anything organized like we had. So each individual temple did, but they had green teams, but they were really fascinated by what we were doing. So good job.
It's a great group, really is.
Well, I want to thank my artists and the musicians. It was beautiful. It was really lovely. I also want to thank my daughter who's not here, but she put together the PowerPoint for me because on the off chance I wouldn't be able to figure that out. I also want to thank Thea because this went very, very smoothly. And I don't think people know, like, you can kind of imagine Thea sometimes is like this little like squirrel that's like in the background with like tape, like making sure that all the wires are put together. And she does such a fabulous job of that nobody notices. And also wanted to thank my husband for helping me out with asking of the
I'm the simple son.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, thank you, everyone.
And Michael and I are both ready for St. Patrick's Day, as you can see.
St. Patrick's Day. Okay.
We are not quite there.
How much do we have to go?
113.
113. Okay, we're close. We're very, very close. Maybe
there
we
may
can
be
put out an appeal to people who didn't come and get that last.
Right. And there may be, there may be some donations coming in by from people
Yeah.
who
I
heard
think
about it,
actually one came
but
in
just couldn't
beforehand.
come. So
Yeah, I think there was actually one that came in that I got was ahead of time, so we can put that in there. This is fabulous, everybody. This is going to help us keep going. Totally.
Great job, Katie. Great job, Thea. Great job, Fred, everybody.
when's our next meeting?
August 6th.
Okay.
Yeah, that wasn't on the announcement. Deb, whoops, we didn't notice that. August 6th is our next meeting, so come and help us figure out what we're going to do next, or be part of it. There's always something new. There's always places where we need new people to fit in, and if anybody wants to help with this, reclaim our vote.
Oh,
that
yes.
would be very cool.
Right.
And the next meeting is September 10th.
After that, okay.
So if someone wants to come to a meeting, my email is jcan.intern@gmail.com. So you can email me, and then I usually send out the links for the meetings. I can put it in here, the chat.
Yes, it's very easy to come to meetings now, of course. and we usually meet an hour ahead of time to chew, in front of Zoom and eat our dinner and schmooze. So it's a little social time there too.
And by the way, it says leadership meeting, but anyone who shows up is automatically leadership, as I eventually found out.
That's right. By dint of showing up, that just shows your leadership. I mean, that's all it takes.
Some actor said something about showing up being half of something or other.
Yeah, right.
80% is showing. Woody Allen, I think.
Oh. All right. Well.
Shalom. This has been wonderful. Shalom Haverim. I'll see you in August.
Thanks for coming.
Okay, thanks.
By the way, we have another great writer showing on our screen without a picture right now, named Rosie Rosenzweig from our temple, who's at Brandeis University, and a great writer.
Mm.
Hi, Rosie.
Bye, Rosie. Bye-bye. Take care.
Hi, Diana. Nice
Bye,
to see
Diana.
you.
Hi.
How are we doing on pledges?
Gotta respond to that. Thank you.
We're almost there, not quite.
But that 9:37.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Here we are. Are we going? Is this
Good to see you, Martin. Thanks.
Thanks for coming, Martin.
Thank you.
And hi to
Thank you.
and hi to Jane.
Right.
Sorry we couldn't all get together for the Seder this year.
Right.
Name's on another Zoom.
Oh no, that was Breakfast. Sorry, Seder's somebody else that we didn't get together with.
Right. Ah, wow.
Nice to meet you, Martin. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, this came together nicely.
Oh, hi, Rosie.
Hi. Had to respond to a plug. Thank you.
Yeah, right.
Look her up. She's written good things. And poetry too, Rosie?
I just published a book of poems.
Okay.
אני אתן 100, אבל אני לא יודעת איך לעשות את זה.
No, את כבר... You already did. את כבר עשית את זה.
Okay.
So Howard, how many of our attendees tonight were your plants here?
Plants? Nobody, actually.
Friends and co-congregants.
Co-congregants? I didn't actually keep track of them, but maybe at least a half dozen. Linda and Joel and Rosie and Martin and Barry. And some of them were already active.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
Good job.
Yeah, that's almost a fifth. Wait a minute, 40?
There you go. And
Very impressive.
Okay, if that's a wrap, I have
All right.
in quarantine downstairs. Come